Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
We're going to try to go to church. We're going to definitely go to church. I think he's working on us.
A heart-stopping morning for one South Fargo family. Their toddler wandered off into the cold. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. A neighbor found the child safe, and police reunited the family. Valley News Team's Bradford Eric was the only one following this story today, and he exclusively sits down with mom and dad, who say they're thankful for a happy ending to their terrifying ordeal.
It was here in the middle of 27th Street South that this homeowner says he looked out his window and saw little Devin shivering in the cold. And when I arrived on scene, police were just pulling away. The homeowner saying he had never seen the child before and was unsure where he came from. Police then went to an apartment building up the street, then a senior living community. By that time, Devin's father realized he was gone and called 911.
I mean, it's a blessing to have people like that in your neighborhood that, concerned.
Deneen and Carlton say they have measures in place to keep Devin inside.
Childproof locks on.
Yeah.
Our main front door, the garage door stay locked. He can't reach that.
And they even have a baby gate to keep him off the back patio. But police say Devin's older brother went to school, leaving the door open, and Devin couldn't resist heading to one of his favorite places, the nearby park.
Biggest job of your life. It's like you can't rehearse for it. You can't go you can't take an interview for it or nothing like that. So you have to be able to be on top of it at every instant.
Carlton says he blames himself. He wasn't keeping as close of an eye on Devin. But both parents say they are more than thankful for their neighbor and the police. And little Devin couldn't wait to give Mom a hug. Mom beyond happy to have him home safe. Bradford Eric, Valley News Live.
Police said there won't be any charges filed in this situation. Police have arrested a man on terrorizing charges after an incident at a Fargo liquor store earlier this week. 27-year-old Abdi is in custody for felony terrorizing. He allegedly threatened workers at the spirit shop with a knife when they approached him about shoplifting. Officers were called out to the liquor store near 13th Avenue South just before 1 yesterday morning. An employee says he was frightened for his life and pulled out his own personal knife to defend himself. No one was injured in that incident. The clouds have been hanging around all day. Some areas have even seen a few sprinkles. So what does it look like for this evening? Here's Hutch with First Weather.
Andrea, thanks so much. We continue with our gray skies over the majority of our area. The rain showers are exiting off to the east, and it looks like more gray on the way for tonight. A look at rainfall over the last 24 hours. The Southern Valley getting the bulk of the precipitation, with some spots getting over 2 inches of rain, over an inch recorded at Hector International Airport. Spots where you see the yellows there between 1 inch and 2 inches, and some spots over 2 inches of rain reported, like south of Lisbon. Forecast for this evening shows shower chances will be mainly off to the east. We're stuck in the 40s, and rainfall totals from rain gauges around the region showing Oaks picking up 2.4 inches about, and Brampton 2.65 inches of rain. Expect mid-40s all evening, light south winds, and yes, those are clouds. Those are expected to continue. Andrea, I'll have details on if there'll be some golden sunshine in your forecast coming up here in just a few minutes.
Yeah, we could use it, couldn't we?
I think I could.
Okay,
yeah.
Thanks, Hutch.
You bet.
Protesters trying to block construction of the Dakota Access Oil Pipeline have said they believe law enforcement will soon take action to remove them, but it hasn't happened yet. Today, Morton County Sheriff Kyle Kirchmeyer and a National Guard spokesman met with demonstrators at the barricade. Kirchmeyer says they don't want any trouble, but he pointed out that the protesters are breaking the law by trespassing on Energy Transfer Partner land. The protesters have claimed the land, though, using the right of eminent domain because of an 1851 treaty. Both sides have drawn a line in the sand, the protesters refusing to leave and law enforcement insisting that they will force them off if necessary. Tonight, the standoff remains.
And there's young men,
I
and there's
understand
individuals that are willing.
I understand that, and we don't want that to happen.
That's what you're going to bring on by your actions.
Well, what are we supposed to do?
Cass County Sheriff Paul Laney was also on the scene. You just saw him, and told reporters they have the capability of forcibly removing activists, but he hopes it doesn't come to that. He says the protesters need to go back to the main camp so that they can talk it out. Nearly 400 people were protesting in downtown Minneapolis, upset that Hennepin County deputies are at the site of the controversial Dakota Access Pipeline protests in western North Dakota. As Ellery McCardle reports, protesters dropped off a petition to the Hennepin County Sheriff saying their work in North Dakota is unnecessary.
We are here to witness to the fact that water is life.
This group's mission hasn't changed.
We stand with the Standing Rock Sioux and their fight for sovereignty.
Hennepin County Sheriff Rich Stanek sent deputies to North Dakota Sunday at the request of local officials who were dealing with months of protests and dozens of arrests. But today, a new call for action directed at Stanek.
Right now.
The Hennepin County Sheriff's Office says the deputies sent to the site are trained to respond to state emergencies and tells us, quote, these Minnesota peace officers will assist in maintaining the public safety, preserve the peace, and protect the constitutional rights of protesters. But to this group, they call it police militarization and unnecessary.
Now to find out that resources from my own county, my own home, are being sent to participate in that suppression, I just think we owe it to Native peoples to make the future that I was told they had a reality.
So they march in solidarity, not giving up on their mission.
We will defend our land. We will have fresh water with our children and our grandchildren.
Of course, it's not just Hennepin County. Resources and personnel have been pulled from multiple counties across North Dakota. The Cass County Sheriff, deputies from his department, and Fargo police officers are all assisting in Morton County. The Secretary of Defense has suspended an effort to force thousands of California National Guard members to repay enlistment bonuses. The Pentagon is collecting the bonuses from more than 6,000 soldiers who were overpaid to enlist and serve in Iraq and Afghanistan at the height of the wars. The DoD says audits show the California National Guard improperly offered the bonuses of $15,000 or more, and the Pentagon wants the money back. The collection effort sparked strong criticism, and now Secretary Ash Carter is ordering the Pentagon to suspend that effort. We have uncovered some amazing numbers regarding the student population in school districts across the Valley. Statistics show that hundreds of Valley students are homeless, according to state and federal reporting standards. However, as Valley News Team's Neil Carlson shows us, the numbers are a bit misleading.
The numbers are startling as to where students around the valley may be spending their nights before heading to school each morning. Here are the numbers gleaned from just 3 school districts in the valley as to the number of homeless students. Last year, the Fargo School District reported 231 homeless students. Grand Forks, 181 homeless students. And so far this year, 72 homeless students in the Crookston School District.
Of course, the word homeless doesn't really describe the way they count. I would guess that people wouldn't be saying 70, 72. They'd be saying, 5, 6 maybe at the most.
Bates says for the purposes of state and federal reporting, there are several factors that define who is actually classified as a homeless student.
This would include kids that may be staying with a grandparent, with an aunt, with an uncle, in a blended family. They might have moved from a mom to a dad or vice versa.
And while the overall number of students listed as homeless in the valley is a bit misleading, it's still a very real problem. Here at the Care and Share mission in Crookston, Director Sue Sherrick says on any given day they could have 3 to 13 school-age kids staying here with their families. In Crookston, Neil Carlson, Valley News Live.
The homeless student statistic can be used by individual school districts to receive more state and federal funding. It was burgers and ballots for lunch today at Park Christian School in Moorhead, with students taking part in a statewide mock election. They're the only school in the area that's part of the program, and their ballot was for the office of president. The event came complete with voter registration, voting booths, and an official ballot box. And students are saying it's important for them to get involved.
Well, we're the future of America. We're the future citizens who will be taking those roles in leadership positions in government, as well as the people who will be voting in the future. For us to understand at such an early age, we'll be able to contribute even more to that.
About 100 students were expected to take part in today's vote. The results from their ballots are scheduled to be announced on November 1st, 1 week from Election Day. It's not just hunters looking out for deer this time of year. It's also a peak time for deer vehicle collisions. Game and fish biologist Doug Lear says deer are more active this time of year, especially during dawn and dusk. You may see deer near the roadways through harvest because the equipment is pushing deer back and forth between fields. And if you see one deer, there's a pretty good chance there's going to be another one coming behind it. Lear says understanding wildlife behavior can help you avoid hitting them.
The deer in the headlights look. Does that mean they're not going to move? No. Actually, what happens is then they'll take off, and you can find yourself in a collision.
Rather than swerving, your best option is to hit the brakes and honk your horn. Though hitting a deer can be dangerous, experts say it's better than swerving into oncoming traffic or rolling your vehicle. Many people will be bewitched with all the candy being sold this time of year, but there are some fun and healthy ways to enjoy the holiday. Dietitians suggest putting out platters filled with fun fruits and vegetables for people to make a healthier choice. Pumpkin seeds, along with other nuts, are good snacks to eat instead of the sweet treats.
So it's all about moderation. It's okay to eat those candy bars sometimes, but let's try to get healthy things into and have a good base before you go out trick-or-treating. Eat dinner so you aren't scavenging through your bag for something to eat, because you're not going to make good choices if you're hungry.
We have all of our festive but healthy ideas on our webpage. Just go to valleynewslive.com and look for this story. Amazon's Fire tablets are about to get more useful. That's still ahead tonight.
And our gray day, if you missed it, our skyline did not change much. We did start the day with some patchy fog and low clouds. All details on when the sun makes an appearance right after this.